So yesterday, Apple just went ahead and pretty much announced and released the iPad 10th generation, and I went ahead and pre-ordered it, and I have some thoughts about this specific iPad. Now, for one, I do kind of think it's a pretty big upgrade coming from the iPad 9th generation. I think Apple did a great job at going through and finally removing the home button and bringing in a kind of newer design that kind of streamlines all the other iPads. They all pretty much have flat sides and all kind of look the same now too, which is really cool. But there is a really big thing to keep in mind. For one, Apple is currently still selling the iPad 9th generation, so they did not go ahead and decrease the price tag of that one or remove that iPad, and that kind of bothers me a little bit. For one, I feel like for Apple still selling this $329 iPad, and for the, there's no upgrade of that specific iPad besides the iPad 10, they've increased the price tag like crazy. So from the iPad 9th generation, that was a $329, iPad. Now with the iPad 10, that is $449. That is a really big upgrade in terms of, the price, but you also have to keep in mind the iPad 9 is still being sold at $329. Why is that important? Well, if you remember, every time Apple went ahead and released a new iPad, they would, bring in tons of features, tons of changes, but they would, keep it at the same price tag, or they would increase a little bit here and there, but they would remove the older one, to make room for the new one. This is exactly what Apple's done with the iPhone 14 with that same chipset. They're now making it so like the iPhone 14 is pretty much the same thing as the 13 and the 12. They're trying to make less changes and increase the price on us, so that way we are more inclined to go and upgrade to the next generation iPad. So now, instead of the iPad, successor and the iPad base models costing $329, they've now increased that price tag like crazy to $449. So the whole entire base iPad lineup has seen a massive increase in price, and I think that's going to trickle down to the mini lineup, Air lineup, and quite potentially the Pro lineups as well. Now, another thing that really bothers me about the iPad 10th generation is that Apple Pencil support. So instead of giving us the Apple Pencil 2 support, which makes the most amount of sense, pretty much every single iPad that's had a flat side, stemming even from the iPad, Pro 3rd generation that came out in 2018, that iPad had Apple Pencil 2 support, which I love Apple Pencil 2. I use it all the time. Well, I don't use it all the time, but I use it sometimes. But that is substantially better than the Apple Pencil 1. For this iPad having flat sides and for it having a USB-C port, there is no reason why Apple should still configure the Apple Pencil 1 and require us to buy a dongle for whatever $9 to go and use this specific iPad. That makes absolutely no sense. The Apple Pencil 1, for it sticking out already, we were already memeing it and it was already kind of annoying. But now that this iPad this iPad requires you to even have that pencil stick out even more than it originally did. So that makes even less sense in this specific example. So I think the iPad 10 is a big upgrade coming from the iPad 9, but this is no longer the base iPad. This is not like an iPad 9. This is more like a Pro iPad. This is like an iPad Pro in a way. Although the price tag is still substantially cheaper, they've now increased the price tag from the base iPad lineup. They've now required us to buy a dongle for the Apple Pencil, which is kind of weird. They should have just kept the lightning connector on this iPad at that point, to be honest. So I would love to hear your thoughts about this. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Like I said, I've already pre-ordered. I'm going to compare like I always do. But I think for this iPad, increasing the price tag like crazy, and for Apple requiring us to buy a dongle for the Apple Pencil is very, very strange. I would just recommend buying an iPad Air at that point. And that's exactly what Apple wants us to do, by the way. If you have any other thoughts or questions, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. Let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.